call them out is a letter received yesterday, which the House Business Committee rejected, by the Honorable CS for, this is what the CS said in the letter, that, Mr. Speaker, today they were to attend to a prior scheduled ministerial event on black rhino ear notching and fitting of monitoring devices. This is something that a cabinet secretary can delegate to a person of the lowest rank in that particular ministry. It cannot be a reason for a CS to say he is abandoning a responsibility to appear before the House to go and fit in monitoring devices to a rhino in the national park. Mr. Speaker, this is the sort of behavior that we have said before, that these people, the moment they get into office, they forget that they are holding such offices for the interest of the Kenyans. And the best interest of Kenyans can only be served by appearing before this House to answer questions of national importance that represent the people who are represented by the senators in this particular House. This particular letter, Mr. Speaker, was rejected, and the CS was asked to appear. We have not received any response to the letter that had indicated to him or her that we are not buying the excuse. And, Mr. Speaker, it is high time that, as I've said, we censor these cabinet secretaries for them to appreciate the importance of appearing before the Senate, because if they take the House the way they do with disrespect, they definitely cannot take their responsibility as cabinet secretaries as serious as it should be. And we've got so many Kenyans who are capable, willing and ready to serve in such offices. So, Mr. Speaker, even as we regret the time that we have wasted this morning, we also call upon the authorities relevant to call upon these irresponsible CSs to appear before the House. We are struggling right now with the issue with regards to the health sector, the chief and SHA, Mr. Speaker. This would have been a very important opportunity for the Cabinet Secretary for Health to explain to the Kenyans the situation as is. Yesterday we had, and we saw the national news carrying a position taken to suspend the CEO of SHA, and it is a time that Kenyans need to understand the things or the positions or options the government is taking in order to make sure that they streamline the representations that we have in the Ministry of Health. And if the Cabinet Secretary can just wake up in the morning and say, I'm indisposed, I therefore cannot appear before the Senate, Mr. Speaker, we don't buy it, we do not accept it, it's not acceptable, and we are calling them out because they are failing Kenyans, they are failing the government that is highly expected to perform and support the programs that help the people of Kenya. Mr. Speaker, it is not acceptable at all, and we do not, as a House, condone such kind of character and behavior by the Cabinet Secretary. Mr. Speaker, I join my colleagues in calling them out and say this is improper, and I thank you.
Honorable Senators, the time we had set for these interventions is almost over. So maybe if you give you time, just take 2 minutes, kindly. The whole country has earned the Senate this morning. Therefore, maybe if we even conclude this discussion, the better. I want to give one of the senators when the question with the Minister of On Drive, Senator Richard Julius Mulgo.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the opportunity to also add my displeasure about the behavior of our cabinet secretaries. This, Mr. Speaker, actually shows the attitude that our CSs have towards the Senate, and it seems like they have no regard for Senate, and they probably do not have a clue what this House stands for and what the members represent. And therefore, that translates into even them not prioritizing the situation and the plight of the citizens that these members represent. And so when our citizens and the citizens of Kenya bring their situations and pressures and plights in hospitals and so on to us, these people have no interest in attending and prioritizing the situation of health, the situation of those that are killed by elephants, and many others. And therefore, their priorities are not Kenyan, their priorities are not in agreement with what members in this House are looking at as being concerns of Kenyans. And so action that is of the highest level needs to be taken so that a lesson is learned, and therefore bringing awareness and awakening status to the cabinet secretaries. And therefore, I agree with one member that said that we should take our
It's because we said 2 minutes so that we conclude this discussion. Senator Ogola Beatrice.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, this morning I was happy coming to share with the CS Health, especially coming from recess, and we've been sharing with the members of our communities. We have a lot of issues that are affecting health, which we needed the CS to clear. This morning I was coming to stand in for Senator Tobiko, Perez Tobiko, and Senator Catherine Muma, and especially to get clearance on the Linda Mama initiative, which sought to achieve universal health access to maternal child health services. Honorable Speaker, we all know my interest on maternal issues, and so I missed this opportunity, but I hope the CS is going to get well and come to the Senate so that we are able to sort a number of these issues. Honorable Speaker, people do not decide when they fall sick. And so, I'm happy at least the CS did a letter. A number of my colleagues have compared it to the impeachment process we had with the Deputy President. Honorable Speaker, I remember the Senate took its time and adjourned at the request of Senior Counsel Paul Muite when he indicated the former Deputy President was sick, and we took a break. When we came back, the Senior Counsel also requested that we break up to 5, and the Senate was able to break. That was a demonstration that we were also appreciating that people do not choose when to get sick. But we had a constitutional time frame to observe, and so we went ahead. But it showed we respected the right of the Deputy President then, and so, Honorable Speaker, when the CS gets well, we welcome her to the Senate to share on the...
Senator Murango James.
Asante sana Mstahiki Speaker. Ya kwanza ninataka niseme ya kwamba kufika hapa asubuhi, mimi nimetoka nyumbani saa 10 ya usiku, ili tuweze kuongea na kujadiliana kuhusu mengi sana sana, kwa sababu Wizara ya Afya ni muhimu sana katika Kenya hii. Mstahiki Speaker, unaweza jenga barabara, unaweza fanya mambo mingi, lakini huwezi fanya kama watu wamekufa. Wanaotumia hizo huduma ni watu walio hai. Kwa hivyo kitu ya kwanza pia nitamwombea Daktari Barasa uponyaji wa haraka ili aweze kuja kujibu maswali. Lakini pia kwa sababu ni daktari, Waswahili husema kiserema hulima kuliko njembe mpya. Yeye ni daktari. Na kwa hivyo wakiwa ni mzoefu wa mambo ya hospitali, pia majibu ambayo tumepata saa hii ingekuwa pia iwe ni majibu ambayo inajibu maswali yote yaliyoulizwa. Lakini ya kushangaza sana ni waziri ambaye anahusika na wanyama pori, Aden Duale, ambao amekuwa kiongozi wa wengi katika bunge la kitaifa. Lakini leo
maani sio Aden Duale. Ni
Rebecca Miano.
Rebecca Miano.
Oh, pole, samahani.
Duale ni waziri wa mazingira na misitu.
Nadhani hiyo nimekuwa nimepewa taarifa mbaya hapa na rafiki yangu hapa. Sasa mstahiki Speaker, nasema ya kwamba Rebecca Miano hakuwa mgonjwa, lakini ameamua kwenda kuweka vifaru Kengele katika hifadhi ya wanyamapori. Hiyo ni kusema ukiangalia katika taratibu ya venye wanambeba na uzito, anatuchukulia kwa urahisi kama bei ya chumvi. Ni kusema vifaru kwanza, seneti ndio tunafuata. Kwa nini hangetuma mtu kwenda kuweka hizo Kengele? Kwa sababu niko na uhakika sio yeye anaweka vifaru Kengele. Hapa vifaa vya kuweza kufuata vifaru. Lakini pia nasema kwamba tumepoteza nafasi farau ya kuelezea mambo inayoendelea katika serikali. Na Waswahili husema ukikalia kutikavu kuanguka si anjali. Na
Nilikuwa napendelea misamiati yako lakini muda umetukataa ndugu yangu. Wacha tukuongeze dakika moja na utumie vizuri kuleta misamiati mingi.
Kusiwe na mazoea ya mawaziri wakiitwa hawaji. Hao Waswahili kwa sababu niambiwa niseme ingine wanasema ya kwamba kuti la mazoea kumwangusha mgema. Huku kukosa kwao utakuja kuangusha wa mawaziri. Asante sana mstahiki Speaker.
Senator wa Matinga Wahome.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, sir. I also like to express my displeasure with the conduct of some of the CSs. But having said that, Mr. Speaker, sir, I would also want to wish Dr. Barasa quick recovery. Having said that, I think on average we've been doing quite well. Maybe what you also need to do is to look at the time that we spend with the ministers, both in the House and in the committees, Mr. Speaker. Some of the questions that we put through to the CSs, they are raised in the committees, and maybe we need to also look at their schedules so that these appearance and non-appearance, when we come here on Wednesdays, expecting to get answers, Mr. Speaker, only to find that a CS has been committed elsewhere, then it means that there is a kind of a disconnect between the way we work and the way the executive works. It's the high time that we brought this in tandem. Most importantly, knowing that what informed this Wednesday session is so that we can create a kind of an interactive moment where we are able to go and tell our constituents, the people we represent, this is what the government is doing. And indeed, I also want to agree with the fellow senators that when the president expressed his displeasure that he's working alone, I really can pity him, because if the CSs do not pull up their socks, Mr. Speaker, then in the next couple of years, we'll all be sent home. And Mr. Speaker, as we prepare ourselves to deliver to Kenyans, we must recommit ourselves, starting from the executive, the legislature, and the judiciary, to serve the people of Kenya, and knowing that we prioritize the business of the people of Kenya, and most importantly, that our appearance and telling them what we are doing and when we want to do it and how we are doing it, it's paramount so that the people can understand that we are committed to serving them. Mr. Speaker, sir, I also express my displeasure and wish that we will change the engagement moving forward. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Mandago Jackson.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity you've given me. First, to register that, Honorable Speaker, we have regulations and rules on how to handle cabinet secretaries who don't appear for a session. So I would request that first the Senate issue summons to those cabinet secretaries, Honorable Speaker, so that we are sure in the next session they should be able to attend the Senate and answer to a few questions. Honorable Speaker, particularly on matters of health, there are a number of concerns, and you know my committee, Honorable Speaker, has a lot of statement from all these honorable members on the implementation and the rollout of SHA. These opportunities CSs are being given is a good opportunity to ventilate on the issues and also speak to the nation about some of the challenges and the issues that have been raised by citizens from across Kenya. And this is a good platform for the CSs to actually explain to the nation how they are handling some of those challenges. I would therefore want to ask that, Honorable Speaker, Cabinet Secretaries do take the matters of the Senate and the House and Parliament seriously, Honorable Speaker. And Honorable Speaker, there seem to be a culture brewing in the executive, particularly in the Cabinet Secretaries and PSS, of contempt on elected leaders, Honorable Speaker. I think it is time they realize that we equally have a mandate to represent the people who have elected us, just the way they have a mandate they have been given in the executive to implement. And working together, we can achieve more and better results than working at cross purposes, Honorable Speaker. I submit.
Senator William Kisan.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I also add my displeasure to the absence of the CSS. If you remember, Mr. Speaker, it is the executive that requested that they come to the House to answer questions. It was not Parliament that initiated this particular issue, it was themselves. So you can imagine a CS Miano, deciding to go and witness putting devices in rhinos instead of sending the Director General for KWS basically, or the PS. It's a contempt of the highest order, Honorable Speaker. She needs to be censored or even impeached because she's terrible. Second, Honorable Speaker, the CSL, we wish her a quick recovery. And I was telling my colleague here, we hope that in the evening when we watch news, we are not going to see her in the news talking about SHA, and she's saying she's indisposed, because that will be a serious contempt, Honorable Speaker, because Kenyans are crying about SHA. People are not getting medical attention by especially public hospitals, Honorable Speaker, and the ministry is in the habit of going around and lying to Kenyans that things are working. They are not working, Honorable Speaker. That is why she had called an opportunity today to come and tell Kenyans what is ailing the implementation of SHA, because basically there was nothing much that NHIF, they didn't have a lot of issues. They should have just maybe done reorganization of NHIF so that Kenyans can continue receiving medical cover as they used to get. The question by senators, there is Edu, Avia, we have Linda Mama, and they are not accessing as we speak of now. So she needs, as soon as she recovers, she needs to come here at the earliest opportunity to come and answer to Kenyans, Honorable Speaker.
Senator Corili Beatrice, Joyce.
Yeah, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I want also to register my great regrets on the absence of the CC, the ministers who were supposed to appear before this House this morning. Honorable Speaker, this is a House of procedures. This is a House of rules. And I wonder, Honorable Speaker, when we are ready with the questions, which have been set not yesterday, but some within the prescribed time frame, and towards the last minute, we are told that the relevant the CSS are not able to attend. Honorable Speaker, I think it's high time this House sets on the time frame in terms of response on when the relevant CCs are supposed to respond to the House, whether they are coming or not. Because, Honorable Speaker, all of us have come this morning ready with a number of questions that are running across the minds of several Kenyans because, Honorable Speaker, health is a serious issue. You remember right now in the social media, there is a child who lost a life in Bomet due to negligence. Honorable Speaker, these are issues that are affecting us in the health sector. Honorable Speaker, I want to say that I think it's enough that we should not be taking a lot of time, the whole morning, discussing the absence of the CSS instead of handling issues that are affecting the Kenyans. So it's high time that we need to change this. We need to set rules because this is a house of procedure. Say that we cannot be here deliberating on a number of CSS who will be missing. Not only, this is not the first day. I think it's now becoming a norm. So, Honorable Speaker, we need to handle this with a lot of concern so that we cannot be wasting time coming this morning.
Senator Mazayo Stewart.
Asante Bwana Spika. Bwana Spika, ni jambo la kusikitisha kuona kwamba kila uchao tukiweza kuwaita mawaziri ambao wanatakana kuja kujulisha wananchi katika Kenya na kujibu maswali ambayo yana umuhimu katika taifa la Kenya, hususan upande wa afya. Tunaona ya kwamba kumekuwa na upotevu wa kuja katika bunge la Senate kuweza kueleza Wakenya ni shida iko namna gani. Tukisema namna hiyo, Bwana Spika, tunaona kwamba mara nyingi kumekuwa na vifo vya wagonjwa, kumekuwa na ukosefu wa ile insurance wanaosema wananchi wanapata, na wakifika hospitali wanaregeshwa. Ni muhimu ikiwa hawa mawaziri wanaweza kujitokeza na kuweza kujibu haya maswali. Bwana Spika, la mwisho ni kwamba itakuwa jambo la aibu na jambo la kusikitisha ya kwamba ikiwa mtu ameitwa kuja, ikiwa waziri ameitwa kuja kujibu maswali ndani ya bunge la Senate na akikosa kuja, ni uvunjaji na ukiukaji wa sheria, na bunge hili linaweza kuchukua hatua ya kuweza kumpatia summons kama zile za kule kotini, kuona kwamba amefika hapa, na akikosa kuja tena tunaweza kumpatia, anaweza kupigwa fine ya kwamba hili bunge lina uwezo wa kuweza kupitia fine. Bwana Spika, anasema kuna umuhimu wa sisi kupeleka message ngumu zaidi ama ya uzito zaidi, kuona kwamba hawa wamekamilisha agizo la hii bunge la Senate. Asante Bwana Spika.
Senator Boyisa Juma.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika. Pia ningependa kukemea sana, kwa sababu Mheshimiwa Spika, sahihi haswa kama kule katika kaunti ya Kwale, nilikuwa nimejiandaa sana siku ya leo kuja niweze kumuuliza maswali huyu waziri wa afya. Mheshimiwa Spika, kuna wagonjwa wengi sana ambao katika referral hospital ya Msambweni wiki ile iliyopita, mimi mwenyewe nilienda, mimi mwenyewe nikashuhudia wagonjwa wakirudishwa kwa sababu ya hii mambo ya SHA. Mheshimiwa Spika, sisi kama Wakenya tutakuwa uhuru au tutajivunia afya mpaka lini? Hata waheshimiwa wenzangu leo wengi sana walikuwa wamejiandaa, kwa sababu kama kila kaunti katika 47 kaunti zetu, shida kubwa sahihi ni hiyo mambo ya insurance ya SHA. Mheshimiwa Spika, mimi nakemea sana. Kama waziri alikuwa anajua kwamba ni mgonjwa toka Jumatatu au Jumanne, angetuma salamu mapema, lakini salamu zimekuja tu jana, sijui leo watu wamejiandaa kuuliza kupata mwafaka kwa nini hii SHA inaleta shida katika kaunti zetu. Mheshimiwa Spika, mimi kama seneta wa Kwale nakemea sana. Siku nyingine huyo waziri aje mwenyewe personal, kama hawezi atuambie mapema siku fulani mimi nitakuja. Kwa hivyo Mheshimiwa Spika, nakemea sana huyu waziri arekebishe hii tabia yake, sio kutuma barua dakika mwisho akikimbia, alafu kesho tunamuona katika runinga yuko Samburu. Tabia mbaya sana Mheshimiwa Spika. Akome tabia kama hiyo. Watu wa Kwale wanasema tunataka hii SHA ifanye kazi kwa haraka sana. Asante Mheshimiwa Spika.
Mwisho Senator Mwaluma Jones.
Asante Mheshimiwa Spika kwa hii fursa umenipa. Mheshimiwa Spika, tulipoanza huu muhula wa Senate tulibadilisha kanuni. Tukasema siku ya Wednesdays kuwe na mawaziri wanakuja ili kujibu maswali ya maseneta. Nafikiri kama mawaziri wanaona hawawezi, ama tuseme watendakazi executive wanaona kwamba hawawezi kuja hii siku kujibu maswali, basi tubadilishe kanuni, kwa sababu Mheshimiwa Spika, kuna kazi nyingi sana za kufanya. Kuna maswali mengi ya kamati ambayo hayajajibiwa, mengine yamemaliza mwaka. Maswali ya mashamba, maswali ya tourism, mambo ya kupigana kati ya wanyama pori na wananchi. So kuna maswali mengi na maswala mengi ambayo tungekuwa tunayafanya katika kamati siku kama ya leo Mheshimiwa Spika. Kwa hivyo kama mawaziri wanaona hawawezi kuja, ni vizuri Mheshimiwa Spika tuangalie ili tubadilishe kanuni ama standing orders ili tupate Wednesday kama siku ya kuita mawaziri na kamati zetu kufanya kazi kawaida, ili tuendelee kutunga sheria na kufanya kazi zinginezo Mheshimiwa Spika. Otherwise hii SHA haifanyi kazi, huduma za afya zimedorora, haieleweki nafanya kazi vipi, wananchi wetu wanateseka. Kwa hivyo pia nakashi kwa kinywa kipana kutokuja kwa waziri wa afya katika hili bunge. Asante Mheshimiwa Spika.
So honorable senators, in accordance with the standing order 45.2, I want to reorganize this business. The order appearing as number 8, 9, 10, and 11 are defunct till the next time. And therefore, Honorable Senators, there being no other business on the order paper, the Senate stands adjourned until today, Wednesday, 13th November 2024 at 2:30 p.m.